In the city of Limburg, which was part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire at the dawn of the 20th century, a remarkable figure was born, one who would go on to influence the Arab world and the broader Islamic community. His name would later be known as Muhammad Asad. Born into a devout Jewish family, he received a strict religious education. However, he later became one of the most influential Muslim thinkers, interpreting the Qur'an and explaining Islamic jurisprudence. He lived through a time when many nations were just beginning to take shape. He grew up learning Polish and German and mastered Hebrew through intense study. Before World War I, his family moved to another city, and he eventually settled in Vienna, where he left university in pursuit of a free-spirited life, dreaming of becoming a journalist. He succeeded in securing a job at a news agency, marking the start of a journey that would change the course of his life. A letter from his uncle living in Jerusalem, under British mandate at the time, led him to the Middle East. There he wrote for leading German and European newspapers, highlighting early Arab concerns about the Zionist project to establish a Jewish state in Palestine. This was before he embraced Islam. Although not yet Muslim, he opposed Zionism, which led to his writings being labeled as anti-Semitic. He once had a sharp debate with the head of the World Zionist Congress, whom he encountered by chance, and challenged him with sound reasoning. Instead of solely covering politics, Asad grew deeply interested in the region's culture and began learning Arabic, which gave him access to Islamic teachings that would eventually resonate with him. During his travels through the Muslim world, he sought spiritual truth. On one such journey from Afghanistan back to Europe, a tribal elder said to him, "Say the Shahada and become a Muslim truly, not just in your heart." Those words echoed in his mind. He realized he was on the right path. To him, Islam was a bridge over a vast chasm separating two different worlds, one filled with anxiety and superficial wealth, and another rich with meaning and inner peace. He understood that embracing Islam meant completely changing his life. He took that step and went to a mosque in Berlin where he declared, "There is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is the messenger of Allah." His wife embraced Islam alongside him, marking the beginning of a new chapter in their lives. Immediately after converting, Muhammad Asad traveled to perform Hajj and settled between Mecca and Medina, but tragedy struck when his wife passed away there. He met King Abdulaziz, the founder of Saudi Arabia, and served as his advisor, even while openly disagreeing with some of his policies, yet mutual respect remained. He roamed the Arabian desert, deeply influenced by Bedouin life, which profoundly enriched his spiritual experience. He chose to travel by camel, despite life-threatening dangers. Later, he volunteered for a mission from Sayyid Ahmad al-Sanusi, supporting the Libyan resistance against Italian colonial forces, managing to escape spies and surveillance. He eventually settled in the Indian subcontinent and accompanied the famed philosopher Muhammad Iqbal. When World War II broke out, Asad returned to Europe to rescue his family from Nazi persecution, but the British authorities imprisoned him until the war ended. After the war, Asad played a role in founding Pakistan and was granted citizenship. The government tasked him with establishing a department for Islamic revival and appointed him to several official roles, including Director of Middle Eastern Affairs at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Pakistan's ambassador to the United Nations, where he served for 10 years before resigning. He then moved to Mijas, a town in Andalusia, where he lived for 20 years, dedicating himself to correcting Western misconceptions about Islam. He proposed a theory explaining the deep-rooted hostility Muslims often face in the West, attributing it to inherited historical distortions. Among his most significant intellectual contributions were a profound translation and commentary on the Qur'an spanning nearly 1,000 pages, commentary on Sahih al-Bukhari. Using his European background, he presented Islam as a multi-dimensional faith that speaks to human reason and should be understood as a unified message. Muhammad Asad passed away in Mijas and, per his will, was buried in the town's Islamic cemetery. Vienna honored his efforts in interfaith dialogue by naming a square after him. Berlin did the same, placing a memorial plaque on the house where he once lived. So, who was this Jewish-born man who served Islam, defended Muslims, and exposed the falsehoods of Zionist propaganda? He was Muhammad Asad,